CD Projekt Red is a company that I don't think has any connections to Sweet Baby Inc., mostly because they don't really need the woke help. Here's a company, right? Like, they started Good Old Games, the Steam alternative where you actually own the games that you buy. There's no always online client. You don't always need to have a connection to the internet. Once you have the game, you download it. It is yours in so much as you can actually own a digital product. But time after time, they make little incremental changes all the way up to and including the announcement that we're making decisions in our company. We're putting out this big announcement video that definitely doesn't look like a hostage style video, that it wouldn't look out of the place with an ISIS backing track. They're touting how we're going to be ESG compliant as a video game developer. Like, what the hell are you guys doing over here? But CD Projekt Red, in a post-Cyberpunk 2077 society, isn't quite the company that originally brought you GOG. It didn't bring you the fantastically well-received Witcher games. This is a much different animal. No, I'm not just talking about the hunts that Geralt goes after, but CD Projekt Red's CFO, Peter, Polish last name, addresses possible price increases and microtransactions for upcoming future games. And here's the thing, right? Like, their last big success, The Witcher 3, came out, oh Lord have mercy, 2018 or something like that. Like, it's been a long old time. But that game came out, it was a full, total experience that people till this very day still play and rave and rant about it, just how great and high quality of a game it is. I hear a lot of favorable comparisons to that and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so yeah, I know I bought my copy, bought it on GOG, think in on and around the time of release, so yeah, if I have the opportunity to play it, I might play it. Might have to play through the entire franchise, but I'll give it a shake if that ends up, being true here. High quality side quests, an incredible main campaign, and then of course, when it came to having additions to it, microtransactions that weren't really microtransactions, they were full expansions. What was it? Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone. I know that there was two of them. I can't quite remember the name. I know one's Blood and Wine. That's for sure. But all of them were incredibly well received. They were high quality products. But I thought, The Witcher 3 brought that entire story to a close. And I'm sure at one point in time, I will go through all of that and I will experience all of that. Because as it sits right now, as far as I know, that is a self-contained story. And that anything CD Projekt Red does into the future, if they decide to increase the price of their games, if they decide to infuse it with the microtransactions that have permeated the rest of the industry, even though they've sworn them off years ago, well, I won't have to quibble with any of that stuff. But our friend Peter, the chief financial officer of CD Projekt Red, recently addressed questions about possible price increases and the inclusion of microtransactions in the company's upcoming games. A Q&A with Stockwatch. Peter was asked, given the rising cost of game production, is it really okay? The company is considering significantly higher prices for the games for sales at premiere. For example, the equivalent of about $350 funny money, or more on console and PC for The Witcher 4. Recent major premieres show that fans are willing to pay a much higher price for the debut day, and the above has a huge impact on the subsequent profitability of the projects. He responded, it's too early to talk about it, but we're constantly monitoring the market situation and retail prices for the larger titles. The new console generation titles for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S titles have increased their prices to $70, and yeah, as a result, fewer games are actually being purchased for those stupid consoles. But yeah, it was $60 for, as long as I can remember. Now it's up to $70, and apparently $350 funny money is equivalent to $90 American. Holy, yeah, that's what we're paying up here in Canada, and that's why the only new next generation game that I bought on launch, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think that it's worth it, 1000%. I can't sing that game's praises loudly enough. It's not something that I could do for CD Projekt Red, the once gold standard in the industry. Yeah, now, okay, I can't necessarily fault them for looking at the market, see where they can get in, where they're going to fit in. I can sure as hell deride their business practices, because here they are talking about Witcher 4 once again, the game that they're theoretically going to be charging more for, that is going to be shifting perspective. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, The Witcher 1, 2, and 3 told a complete story when it comes to Geralt, right? If that's the case, okay, if that's been sealed off, that's fine, okay? If you want to move on, you want to tell a story about Ciri, whatever, man. Just don't call it The Witcher. How about that? Be honest with your marketing. But you You guys can't get away with doing that. That's my bigger contention with this, as opposed to, oh, they're just sticking a chick in it, and making it lame and gay. Not quite. Like I said, I don't have the biggest amount of, I don't have the biggest the largest familiarity with the franchise. I know that Ciri's a respected character that's in there. I know it wouldn't be out of place for her to take up the mantle, for her to go on her own quests. It's just, if you're going to call it Witcher 4, you better be damn well transparent about that. But here we have Geralt's voice actor confirms Witcher 4 won't focus on Geralt. It's not about him this time. But here's the thing, if he's going to be in the game as just a side character, as a secondary character, you're always, like, you're just destined to have unfavorable comparisons, and you're setting yourself up for failure. I'll just say that. Could be great, but you remember Cyberpunk 2077 didn't come out all that long ago. Doug Cockle, the voice actor for Geralt in The Witcher, Witcher 2, and Witcher 3 confirmed. The Witcher 4 won't focus on Geralt. Oopsie daisy. During an appearance on Fall Damage YouTube channel, Cockle stated Witcher 4 has been announced. I can't say anything about it. What we know is that Geralt will be a part of the game. We just don't know how much. And the game won't focus on Geralt. It's not about him this time. We don't know who it's about. I'm excited to find out. I want to know. I have not seen any script yet. I couldn't tell you if I did. This is the thing. I could be lying through my teeth, but I'm not. Or am I? Oh, wow. CD Projekt Red announced a new Witcher saga, which many gamers are describing as Witcher 4, back in March. A global PR director for CD Projekt Red, Radek Grabowski, I think that was the ESG hostage video guy, shared on X in March of 2022. New Witcher saga announced. CD Projekt Red begins development on Unreal 5. Oh, okay. Part of a strategic partnership with Epic Games. Oh, that's another big red flag. But okay, you're going to be using UE5. Okay, this could theoretically be the first big open world UE5 game. Here's the thing, UE5 doesn't really do that well with big open spaces, so it could be interesting. They better be maximizing the hell out of this. Maybe that's why you signed an exclusive deal or a close partnership with Epic Games. You're going to need all the help you can get. He also clarified that the first game in the saga is not announced as The Witcher 4. He wrote, "What we have not announced today. A game called Witcher 4. A game exclusive to one storefront." Okay, it was our initial confirmation, the new saga in the Witcher franchise. Right now, we are not discussing any specifics in terms of story, characters, mechanics, or plot details. And yeah, that was the thing about Witcher 3. You could get it on Steam. I think you could probably even get it on EA Origin or Ubisoft's gimmick. I think they're all there right now, but at launch, it was definitely on Steam, and it was definitely on GOG. I got it on GOG because, well, it had a whole bunch of other little doohickeys and knickknacks that were on there, and plus they were also announcing at the time, that really ingratiated themselves to the fan base that they were going to have consistent updates to the game where you were always going to be getting free weekly DLC for the first little while. It wasn't anything as big as the expansions were, but it was something significant. This was at a point in time where they were actually, pro-consumer and not pro the message. In October of 2022, CD Projekt Red revealed that the new Witcher saga was being called Polaris internally. The company shared on X, Polaris is a code name for the next installment in the Witcher series of the games, which we recently announced was in pre-production. The beginning of the new saga, we aim to release 2 more Witcher games after Polaris, creating a new AAA RPG trilogy. Company CEO Adam, Polish last name, also shared in a Q&A with investors in 2022 that the first game in the new saga would take longer than 3 years to develop. Which, I mean, you guys announced that, so you would have been working on it, a lot before that as well, so probably aren't going to see anything until 25 or 26. For Polaris, we are preparing technologies. The first project released in the new engine, UE5. We need some extra work making this technology viable for huge open world story-driven games. Yeah, exactly. Because to my knowledge, there are some games that use UE5, but this is far and away going to be the biggest open world game that's going to be on there. Like, not even Rebirth they still use UE4, and for Reclaim when that comes out, 27 probably. Like, it's still going to be using UE4. And to be honest, the game looks pretty incredible. Okay. The second and third installments should go smoother as technology will be better and the tools in the pipeline will be there. Yeah, exactly. See what happens with the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. The game was announced in 2015 and went through, a terrible development cycle to begin with. But from 2020 when Remake released to early 2024 when Rebirth released, you had DLC in between the two. 2, and they created an enormous game in Rebirth. Yeah, this is one thing that I can say is at least good. Okay, once you get familiarity, and as long as you have the same people working on the project, things will be going smoothly. It's just what's going to be the content of the game, okay? Going back to Peter's interview with Stockwatch from 2020 or from March of this year revealed the company has around 400 developers working on the game. Oh god, there's about 400 developers that are working on the game that supports about 50 people as so-called shared services. And that target number of people involved in the project should be slightly higher than the current one. But here's the thing, man, because the last time we talked about The Witcher and CD Projekt Red, we heard somebody that they hired, and this is why people are a little bit frightened about this announcement. CD Projekt Red did recently hire Mary Kenny, a former associate narrative director at Insomniac Games. She posted on LinkedIn in July, "Without further ado, it's time to announce my new job. Today was the first day as a senior writer at CD Projekt Red. I can't wait to talk more about my project. I'm thrilled to be getting back to RPGs, and my team is talented, welcoming, and flat out cool. It's a new adventure. It's unclear what project she's working on at CD Projekt Red, but let's be completely honest. You have 400 people that are working there. You know that that's probably going to be where a vast majority, if not all of their resources, is going to be marshaled towards. And well, Kenny infamously told DualShockers in May that everything must be done to push the big gay agenda. She reacted to a GLAAD report bemoaning the lack of gay characters in video games, describing the report as heartbreaking, and then would also go on this big long screed defending Sweet Baby Inc. So that's going to be a game writer and a narrative a designer at CD Projekt Red. Oh, God have mercy. I think you'll be seeing fewer sequences like this and more of Geralt being talked down to because he's much of a womanizer by a strong, empowered female that will look nothing like Ciri that you see right here. Yennefer is going to look a lot more like her Netflix counterpart, and the monsters aren't going to be slain and hunted anymore. They're just going to be sat down and better understood. Witcher 3 came out in 2015? Oh my god. Sorry, my mistake. Interrupted. All of that to just, cast my mind back to, back when games, looked that good and the gameplay followed in spades, and we're talking, 10 years ago. But you're going to be 10 years in between iterations where you had Geralt slaying beasts, and then you're going to have strong, empowered girl boss, better understand them and just find out that instead of being hunted down, they just need to be better understood because she's not like one of those toxic men that are out there. She doesn't fight all of her battles driven by toxic masculinity. Oh boy. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.